Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on Friday, June 18th, 2021, to talk about both Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Dynamite. Now, we will kick it off with AEW Dynamite, because then we'll go into SmackDown, and after SmackDown, I'll also do my, predictions for this Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. But with that, I want to say thank you for everyone joining us. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. One of two different ways, actually. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, you can help us out on Twitch by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways, either with a tiered subscription, just like Rosario924, I think that's an 8, 9248 just did for 4 months, or you can subscribe for free with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. And Prime Gaming doesn't just give you in-game perks for specific games and stuff, but it also gives you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to us right here, PW Unlimited. On the flip side, if you're watching on YouTube, you can help us out by either giving us a super chat or a super sticker donation in the live chat, or subscribing to the channel as a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to non-news videos, podcast episodes, exclusive news, and more. Plus, you also get a badge next to your name and emojis you can use in the live chat. But the most direct way to support us here at PW Unlimited is to head over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. But with that, we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. Remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. And if I'm talking Dynamite, I thought the show was all right. But the first hour of the show, I was bored and didn't really like much of any of it. It ramped up in the second hour, which is good, but not good for viewer-wise, because if you have a whatever first hour, people are just going to be like, I'm over this. I'm not going to sit here for another hour. And that could be an issue, but the show itself did kick off with Jake Hager versus Wardlow in an MMA Rules cage match. And, I mean, what were we expecting here? It was Jake Hager, Wardlow in a fake MMA fight. Also, apparently, I found out on Twitter that Taz was on commentary. I couldn't hear commentary at all. So I had no effing idea that Taz was even on commentary here. I did not know it all until I saw on Twitter someone said something about Taz. I literally could not hear commentary. When Justin Roberts did his intros, I could barely hear him over the egregious amounts of crowd noise that they added to this show. It was so bad. I'm like, I can't. First off, Justin Roberts is doing his announcing or whatever. We've got rock solid Jake Hager. And I'm like, okay, I can hear him, but not that well. And then commentary's going, and I hear people saying things. I couldn't tell who the fuck was saying what. Like, this was bad as far as the edit goes of adding the crowd noise, because it was way too much crowd noise. And this is the same issue they had with last week's show. Way too much crowd noise within the first quarter to half of the show, and then they eventually kind of fixed it later. But for most of this show, it was hard to hear commentary, at least for me, because all I kept hearing was the crowd noise. The crowd noise overpowered a lot of the commentary, and honestly, I had no clue watching this entire match that it was Taz on commentary at all. Like, at the end of the match, I heard JR say something about thank you for joining us, but I didn't know that he meant thank you. He was telling Taz thank you for joining us. And the other question is, why was Taz even on commentary? There was no Team Taz member out there. Anyways, the match went The match was a 3-round, 5-minute round fight. Each fighter had a corner man. Wardlow brought out Sean Spears as Jake Hager brought out Chris Jericho. And neither man touched each other for the first minute. And it was, we see that a lot in MMA. So I wasn't too worried about that. But then Hager would throw a strike and then he'd just back it up. And then he'd throw a kick and he'd just back it up. And then he'd throw another strike and just back it up. And the first round was all about standing and striking. You really tell that this was really thought out. The first round was all about standing and striking. I think there was one double leg takedown in the first round or whatever. And Hager had Wardlow up against the cage and Wardlow just threw him off of him. But if I had to say, if there was a winner of the first round, even though there was no judges, it was knockout, TKO, or submission only. I guess you could say Hager would have won the first round if there were judges because he landed more stuff. But it was just what were they doing? And I know in the first round at the end, you can maybe say, Wardlow could have won at the end because he did the Superman punch off the cage and he was really aggressive on Hager. Yeah, you could say that. So it could have gone either way. But I would say Jake Hager because he landed more throughout the round. Then they do they got a minute break. And there was no commercials throughout this whole match. So that was cool. And it was in a actual MMA octagon. But regardless, they have their cornermen come in there, give them a drink or whatever during rounds, and then they go again. And this round was all about takedowns and submissions and fighting on the ground. And I'm going to say right now, Wardlow's punches looked super bad. Wardlow tried to make them look like power shots where he would wrench all the way back, but then when he'd come down, he'd just throw. But he wasn't throwing them in. He was kind of just letting his arm fall, it seemed like. It was like he didn't want to hurt Hager and accidentally throw an actual shot at him or something. So I didn't like that. Wardlow's punches looked very bad, especially when he was when he had Hager mounted or when he had him up against the cage in a clinch and he was trying to throw. And you could tell he's just swinging his arms and whatnot. I mean, it was all right. Eventually, they started going for some submissions. Hager got a triangle, and Wardlow, I guess you could say, countered out of it with a power bomb. He lifted him up and power bombed him. There was one spot where Wardlow slipped out before Hager fought out of a fireman's carry and took Wardlow down with a Uranagi. He kept the head and arm choke in. They made a big deal of saying he won his last 2 MMA fights, real MMA fights, with the head and arm choke. And he kept the head and arm choke in. Wardlow then flipped off Chris Jericho before eventually passing out, and referee Aubrey Edwards stops the match. So technically, Jake Hager wins by submission because Wardlow passes out and can't continue. So I think they said that was submission, but it could be, I don't know. I guess it's referee stoppage, even though they said the only way to win is by submission, knockout, or it's a knockout, submission, or TKO. Yet the match was ended by referee stoppage, so I guess that's submission or TKO. I don't know. I really don't know. Because in MMA, they would have just said this match ended under referee stoppage. But going forward after the match, Sean Spears would attack Jake Hager. Jericho would get involved. Actually, it looked like Hager was going to extend a fist bump to Wardlow, and before Wardlow could accept it or deny it, Spears ran in, attacked Hager. Jericho got involved. MJF ran out, put the Fujiwara armbar, salt of the earth on Jericho. Sammy Guevara would run out. Pinnacle ran away, and Guevara stood tall with his music playing that we couldn't hear because there was so much crowd noise. I knew his music was playing, but I couldn't have told you. I can hear music playing in the background, but I couldn't have told you whose music it was. If you had told me that was Sammy's music, I would have been okay, but I couldn't hear it. There's too much fucking crowd noise. Dynamite's been around for 14 months. Get shit together when you're doing the fake crowd noise. I know WWE does the fake crowd noise, but I never question what I hear commentary saying because WWE's crowd noise, because I can always hear commentary nice, crisp, and clear. But this is the second week in a row, like, that it's been bad, that the crowd noise has been bad. Like, too fucking loud. Again, couldn't hear commentary. Didn't even know Taz was on commentary till I saw someone post something on Twitter. And then when Sammy ran out, couldn't even hear his music. And we know there's not a full fucking crowd there because we know what a full crowd there looks like from a couple weeks ago compared to today. We know that when you get the shots from the side, you're going to see crowds going all the way up the side, not 2 rows of people. And we also know that there's no crowd there because the positioning of the stage. So, enough. Fortunately, next week's show is a live show with the crowd. So hopefully they go back to the configuration of just the one entrance on the side, crowd up top, and yeah, no fucking fake noise. Unfortunately, I will not be reviewing next week's AEW Dynamite, though. I actually am going to Los Angeles. I have to take a class for my second job. I'm getting certified to be a NRA weapons instructor. So I will be watching Dynamite because I want to see Jungle Boy versus Omega, but I probably won't be watching it live. And I'll be in a hotel, so I will not have the correct kind of internet to actually do the review. Next up, Frankie Kazarian, Eddie Kingston, and Penta El Zero Miedo cut a promo. They just talked about their opponents in the 6-man tag team match. Kazarian said that tonight was all about vengeance, hungry for revenge, and thirsty for retribution. Kingston told his opponents to pray to their gods, and Penta said Cero Miedo. Team Taz cut a promo without Brian Cage. Taz says Stark's disagreement with Cage needs to stop. Hobbs was upset because he was left alone last week. Taz then challenged Hangman Page to take on Hobbs one-on-one next week. Spoiler, that match gets announced. Next up, we had a 2-on-1 handicap match. It was the Men of the Year, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky against Darby Allin. And I'm going to say right now, this might be an unpopular opinion. Excuse me. Getting a little tired of Darby. I'm getting a little tired of the whole Darby the underdog, Darby the risk taker, Darby the I'll put my body in any position I need to for this match. I'm kind of over it. He was really red hot earlier in the year. Now, it's hard to say if he is or not still because they've only had like 3 shows with crowds. And we'll have to see once they go back on the road next month if Darby is still like as popular as we think he is. But to me, it's just like, I don't know. It's already been played out, the whole, I've got Sting, but I don't need Sting. They want me to find another tag team partner? No, I'll do it myself. And then the whole taking all the risks. I don't know. I'm just kind of over Darby for the moment. I'm not saying he needs to go away or anything. I'm just like, I'm over, how do I explain it? Like, I know it's his character and whatnot, so I can't say I'm over the character because that's would almost be me saying I don't want to see him anymore. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just over the character. It's just, I don't know. There's just something about Darby tonight, especially, that I was just like, he's not doing it for me anymore. And I used to really like watching Darby. But it's just like watching this match tonight. I mean, it may have just been that I felt like he was a dumbass. Like in storyline, he's a dumbass for taking a handicap match because we all knew he would lose. But it's just like, I'm over it. I'm really over it. That may be an unpopular opinion, but Page started off the match with Darby, and Darby out-wrestled him with his quickness, forcing him to tag in Sky. He rolled up Allin for a quick 2 count. Allin fought both opponents off until Page caught a coffin drop, allowing Sky to take him down with a forearm smash. Allin arm dragged his opponents into each other and took them down with a coffin drop. Page tagged in and leveled Allin with a shoulder tackle. It looked like Page was going to toss Allin into the front row like a double or nothing, but Allin slapped on a sleeper. Page threw Allin into the corners as the Men of the Year took control ahead of a break. Once back from the break, they hit repeated backbreakers on Allin until Allin surprised Page with a small package for a 2. Allin countered a backbreaker with a scorpion death drop. Page then reached Sky for a tag. Then Allen tagged himself, which I didn't get that spot in, running wild on Sky. He hit a code red, but Page broke up the pin and planted him with the Uranagi. Allen, as the referee was distracting Sky, put zip ties around the feet of Ethan Page and then threw him out of the ring, and Page, couldn't really move much because his legs were zip tied. So Scorpio Sky and Darby Allin going at it in the middle of the ring. Scorpio Sky goes for the pin after a coffin drop, and he's pulled out of the ring by Ethan Page. Page eventually finds a toolbox under the ring, which conveniently only had one thing in it. It was exactly what he needs, some cutters. Cut the zip tie off of his legs. He would then take Darby Allin and throw him into the post. Darby Allin did the whole flip around and make it look like I hit my head way too hard deal. He tagged into the match, Ethan Page that was, and propped Allin up for a superplex, but Allin bit his way out of it, sending Page to the mat. Sky pulled out Allen's leg, and Page hit an Ego's Edge to pick up the victory. So, yeah, I mean, what do you expect? It's a handicap match. He's lost. We all saw that coming. And I bet you this feud ain't over. Short video played, hyping up the Wingmen for their match against Orange Cassidy. This sucked. I don't know what this was actually supposed to be, but whatever it was supposed to be, Orange Cassidy versus Cesar Bononi, this was hot garbage. This was bad. So Bononi attacks before the bell. He then tossed Orange out of the ring. On the floor, Nemeth would spray Orange with self-tanner. Back in the ring, Orange, and fucking Peter Avalon was redoing Orange Cassidy's hair. Back in the ring, Orange briefly got control, but Cesar Bononi sent Orange back to the floor. The Wingmen then put a jacket on him. And the ref's just watching all this. I mean, I guess they didn't attack him. Also, it's weird that... Let me look something up really fast. Orange Cassidy came out with the newer Orange Cassidy licensed music or whatever. I don't know the name of the song. But it's weird because he came out to this song. But literally, what was it? A week ago? I think it was last week. He didn't work Dark this week. But last week he was on Dark and came out to just the Best Friends theme. Like, he came out to this song at Double or Nothing. Then he had a match on a Dark, I think it was Dark Elevation last week. He came out to the Best Friends theme. You know, the Best Friends. And then this week, on Dynamite, he just comes out to this song. So is this song his Dynamite song? And Dark Elevation, he's got the Best Friends theme? I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. Anyways, nitpick for nitpick's sake. Anyways, got the jacket on him. Referee don't care that they're fucking with him. And Orange strips Bononi, which it's funny because when you do a drop down is when you learn it in wrestling school. Apparently, it's supposed to be a maneuver to try and trip your opponent running the ropes. And that's what it did here. It actually tripped Cesar Bononi to where he stumbled and fell out of the ring. It looked like it was a botched spot, but it really wasn't, because that's what a drop down is supposed to be. Not just a spot in a match where one person drops down, the other person jumps over him. That's what we see 99% of the time in wrestling matches. A drop down is one person drops down, one person jumps over. No. Technically, a drop down is supposed to be a maneuver where the person not running the ropes is trying to trip their opponent. And it actually worked the way it's supposed to tonight. I think literally that's only like the second time I've ever seen that happen. Anyways, the Wingman caught Bononi and threw him back into the ring. Statlander distracted the referee while Best Friends assisted Orange on a dive. This was actually a cool spot in the ring. So you've got Trent and Chuck in the ring, and it's almost like a cheerleading maneuver. They've got Orange Cassidy up, and they rocket launch him up in the air, and he does like a front flip. It was like a slow-mo look, a front flip thing. This is the only cool, good thing in the entire match. This was a cool little spot where he did the little dive onto the Wingmen on the outside. Bononi caught a diving DDT at one point back in the ring, but Orange turned it into a stunner, Stun Dog Millionaire, and a rolling DDT, which I never realized the Stun Dog Millionaire, and Darby's little float over stunner thing are basically the same move. Orange took out Nemeth and Drake with an orange punch before doing the same to Bononi and picking up the victory. Like, there was way too much outside interference, and the whole, they spray tanned him, they fixed his hair, they put a jacket on him, and all that. It's like, really? It's just too much. And then another thing that was just way too over-scripted was a deal between Jungle Boy and Kenny Omega. So they send it to Alex Marvez in the back, and Alex Marvez is like, next week on a special Saturday night edition of AEW Dynamite, Jungle Boy will be challenging Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship, and I'm hoping to get a moment, I'm hoping to speak with Jungle Boy here tonight. All of a sudden, as soon as he finishes the sentence, oh, and speak of the devil, there's Jungle Boy. And like, Jungle Boy was waiting for his cue off camera. And so Jungle Boy comes in and he goes, Jungle Boy, next week you will be facing Kenny Omega. All of a sudden we see a golf cart pop up with Kenny Omega. And you hear Alex Marvez, well, this wasn't planned. This isn't what I had in mind for this. I'm like, this is just way too, like, really, what's the coincidence twice that you say you want to get a word with Jungle Boy and poof, Jungle Boy just appears? It's not like, I have Jungle Boy off camera. Here's what we're going to talk about. Jungle Boy, come over here and talk to me. No, it was, I hope to see Jungle Boy. Half a second later, there's Jungle Boy. Before Jungle Boy could speak about Kenny, oh, there's Kenny. It's a little too... They didn't have enough time in between their little... where they should have had pauses, in my opinion. From a production standpoint, where I've taken plenty of film and production classes, I know when you do stuff like this, when you talk about something, you don't need it to just boom. You need to have time to breathe the segment and the moment. When you say, I want to get a word with Jungle Boy, maybe I can catch, like, he should have said something like, he says that, then he pauses for half a second, says, I hear Jungle Boy maybe about to leave his locker room, even though they weren't near a locker room, but whatever. And then Jungle Boy just walks up, not like, because you can tell Jungle Boy was standing there waiting for his cue the way he walked in. It should have been like he was just walking, and Alex Marvez goes, oh, there he is. Let me catch up with him really fast. Like, it shouldn't have looked like Jungle Boy was waiting for his cue to walk into camera. And then when Kenny shows up, it was just way too quick as well. But with that, Kenny Omega talks about how Jungle Boy's never been in a real fight. He's got a pretty face, has never actually been punched. He said that maybe they should go at it right here, right now. Jack says, oh, you want me to fight you here? He goes, I'll give you the first shot for free. Put my hands behind my back. And so Jungle Boy takes his backpack off. Jungle Boy takes his jacket off or whatnot. And before he can go to hit Omega, he gets hit from behind with the laptop by Nakazawa. They all start to brawl. Kenny and Don jump back in. Oh, funny part. So Kenny says the word ass, and they bleep it. Because Kenny's like, I'm going to beat your ass next week. And they go, Kenny says, I'm going to beat your beep next week. And then Don just yells, he's going to beat your ass. And they don't bleep that. Less than half a second later, Kenny's like, I'm going to beat your beep next week. He's going to beat your ass. I'm like, who's editing this fucking show? Anyways, they're brawling. Kenny and Don jump back in the golf cart. Nakazawa tries to get in the golf cart. Kenny kicks Nakazawa out. He tells Don, go for it, Don. Jungle Boy tries to jump on the back. Can't get it. There you go. A lot of what the fucks. Next up, we got Matt Hardy in the Hardy family office. Not sure where the Butcher was. No Butcher. There was Private Party, the Blade and Alley, or the Bunny with Matt, but no Butcher. They were interviewed by Alex Marvez, talking about Christian Cage. I said that Christian was in violation of a contract. And that's why Hardy keeps attacking him. I have no fucking clue what contract this is. Like, what is Matt Hardy talking about? Somebody enlighten me. What the fuck is this contract Matt Hardy's talking about that he said Christian is in violation of? Is this something from Dark or Elevation? Because they haven't said anything on Dynamite about Matt having a contract with Christian or Christian having. I honestly had no clue what this was. He said that's why he's been attacking Christian. Christian then all of a sudden just shows up. Like, they talk about Christian, and boom, there's Christian. Again, can't let fucking shit breathe. Let it breathe. They're always, that's the one issue with AEW. It's boom, boom, boom. Shit just happens too fast sometimes. You have to let segments breathe and moments breathe. It's a very, very learn early on fundamental in video production. letting moments and lines breathe at times. AEW doesn't do that for most of the time. Anyways, they take Christian, they lock him in some little storage area. Allie's over here laughing like a hyena. In the background, Matt's telling Christian, "Go home, retire. I'll fund some college fund." I don't fucking know. He slips him a check. And Christian's like, "I'll get you, Matt." And Christian says, "I'm gonna come after you." And Matt's like, "I'll end your career." And I'm like, "Oh, two old guys wanting to end each other's career. Okay. Two former WWE guys feuding. Who didn't see this coming? This ain't WCW. Oh, wait, it might be." Like, fuck. It's WCW all over again. Bring in two WWE guys to feud. Bring in two fucking guys that WWE didn't want anymore. It's fucking Hogan and Warrior in WCW. Two guys that WWE were done with. WCW brought him in and had him feud, and no one cared about the feud. Now, WWE is done with Matt Hardy, done with Christian. AEW brings him in. Now they're feuding. Who fucking cares? I don't care about Christian versus Matt Hardy. I don't want to fucking see a match. I'm over it. I thought Christian was feuding with Taz's group. When did that end? AEW, when did that end? I thought it was Taz and Christian going at it. Matt Hardy and Christian. Jeez. Next up, we had Cody Rhodes and Brock Anderson against the Factories, QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. And fuck if they didn't make Brock Anderson just look like a guy on the roster. Cody's music hits. Cody comes out, gets the pyro, fire, everything. Cody walks out of his little tunnel area, his little center area, only for Cody. He walks out. He's at the edge of the ramp, got to get into the ring, and then here comes Brock Anderson and Arn Anderson from behind Cody. Cody does his whole get on the ropes. Yeah! Oh, crowd. And Brock Anderson just walks into the ring, looks around, looks at Cody. Yeah, I'm ready to go. If they didn't make this bloke look like a fucking just guy on the roster, are you kidding me? So Brock Anderson and Aaron Solo start off the match. Brock avoided a swing and backed himself into the wrong corner, getting some coaching from Cody for his troubles. Solo taunted Brock, but was taken down, leading to more chain wrestling. Marshall tagged in, but Cody wanted in as well, so Marshall escaped back to the floor. Cody took him out with a suicide dive, but Solo was the legal man, gaining control after a stomp. Cody fought out of the corner and tagged in Brock, who hit repeated shoulder strikes in the corner. He dispatched Solo with a gut wrench, but Marshall took him down with a double-A spine buster ahead of the break. Brock reached Cody for a hot tag after the break, but Solo had the official distracted, allowing the Factory to hit a double-team neckbreaker for a 2. Marshall went for the crossroads on Brock, who countered into a DDT. Cody finally got the hot tag and ran wild on Solo, hitting an Oklahoma Stampede and a flying head scissors. He locked Solo in a figure 4, but Solo was at the ropes. They fought up top, but Marshall got involved, so Cody hit him with a destroyer. Solo rocked Cody with a cyclone kick, but Brock broke up the pin. Brock then tagged in and helped Cody hit a step-up forearm before jackknifing Solo for the pin and the win. Like, it was good that they gave Brock the pin, but they couldn't even give him a move? He couldn't even have a finisher? Again, just a guy. To me, he came off as just a guy. The match itself was fine. It was not bad at all. But if this is supposed to be Brock Anderson, he's going to be this big star for AEW going forward. He's the son of Double-A Arn Anderson. He's going to do great things. He just looked like another new guy on the roster. He didn't look special to me. They didn't let him have an entrance. He was just in Cody's background. They didn't let him have a finisher. No, he had to help Cody hit a finish move, the step-up forearm, and then he jackknifed. And because that's all he did, They showed the fucking jackknife 5 times in replays because he didn't do anything else to win the match. Again, Cody hit the move, and then he did the jackknife. Like, whatever. Cody and Brock win, and Brock does the whole, thank you, crowd, thank you, crowd, thank you, crowd. I really appreciate the cheers for the victory kind of thing. And him and his dad kind of embraced afterwards. Cody just dips out. Cody just goes, oh, match's over? Okay, I'm going to dip out. I'll leave you in the ring. They like show Cody briefly sitting in some corner dark area, and then they go back to the ring. They go, oh, maybe we shouldn't show that. Lance Archer and Jake Roberts cut a promo. Jake said that they were going to wait and pounce like a tiger, but Archer doesn't know how to do that. Archer was pacing impatiently in the background, cutting the promo off early. Next up, we had Andrade El Idolo with Jim Ross. And I can nitpick this from a production standpoint again, because I'll just say it, bubbed up their fucking captions. So they have the captions across the bottom of the screen, but whoever produced this segment didn't realize that Andrade was wearing a white shirt. So putting white text over a white shirt, even though it's got some sort of a shadow on the text, still going to be a little hard to read because your shadow was too soft. Again, another production fumble tonight. Like, they've got words across the bottom of the screen, but half of the time, some of the letters were blending into Andrade's, button up under his jacket because that was white. The text was white. And then the shadow that they tried to put on the text was too soft. Andrade's cutting a promo here. He's going in and out of English and Spanish. Only thing I could think of is, yeah, the criticisms I've been hearing are true. WWE may have not been super high on Andrade because of his English, but Triple H really likes Santos Escobar because his English is pretty good. Anyways, again, Andrade's going in and out from English to Spanish in this promo. JR talked about how Andrade is a superstar, and he shows up in jets and whatnot. JR talked about the championships in AEW, the TNT title, and the AEW title. Andrade said, my next step is to go for the TNT championship and to go for the AEW World Championship. But which is it? You can't go for both. JR then said, some people were taken aback that you were brought in by Vicky Guerrero. What is all that? And he talked about how Vicky, she's got experience in this business, especially with the Guerrero family. The Guerrero family is one of the biggest and greatest families in all of pro wrestling, and so is his family. And because of all their connections, he and Vicky have a surprise. What that surprise is, nobody knows. He didn't give no kind of hint, no nothing. What are they bringing in? Shaul Guerrero? They're going to bring in fucking Aiden English? I mean, I don't want to see Hector. Hangman Page with Dark Order in the back. He accepted Taz's challenge to fight Hobbs next week. It should be a good match. Hobbs versus Hangman one-on-one. He was asked about the world title match next week, saying, you're the number 2 ranked men's wrestler in AEW. Whoever wins that match next week with a title on the line, you could challenge them. And kind of just brushed it off. Hyped up the Dark Order. Most notably, John Silver will be back soon from his shoulder injury. And then they all toasted Evil Uno. Toasted this guy after he lost to fucking Miro for the TNT title. Like, why are we celebrating losers? Anyways, something that was actually pretty good. Penelope Ford versus Julia Hart. I thought these two worked great together. Great together. Match starts off and do some chain wrestling. Ford used her acrobatics to escape a head scissors before dropping Hart with a shoulder tackle. Hart came back with a drop kick and a running crossbody. Ford tripped Hart up and hit a springboard knee drop into the commercial break. Back from the break, they traded strikes. Ford avoided a corner clothesline, but Hart rolled Ford up. Ford rolled out and took Hart down with a clothesline of her own. She caught a kick and a slap and slapped Hart before hitting a fireman's carry gutbuster. Hart rolled out of the way of a moonsault, and Ford avoided a split leg drop and locked on the Indian Deathlock to pick up the submission victory. So after the match, referee's trying to get her off of Julia Hart, and Penelope Ford won't break the hold. So Varsity Blondes get all pissed off. They throw their jackets off. They jump into the ring like they're going to attack Penelope. And all of a sudden we hear, hey, stop all of this. Stop all of this. What is this 3-on-1? This This Penelope is a Miro coming out. He's like, "Where's Penelope? She's had a hard go of it. She had a bad wedding. Her husband's out hurt. And now you guys are going to attack her 3-on-1. Maybe I should come in and help her out a little bit." So Miro comes in and dispatches of Varsity Blondes, helping Penelope. What sense does this make? So Miro's back with Kip and Penelope? I have no earthly idea. But he says something like, she needs some good. She won, and then you guys want to attack her 3-on-1? Like, what? Miro's back with Kip and Penelope? What I think this should be is Miro is now with Penelope, or Penelope's now with Miro, and she's like when Kip finally comes back, she should be like, I loved you, but I found a better man, the best man, and this is my best man because you can't hack it. And so now she's with Miro. Somehow maybe Kip Sabian brings in Lana. And so we get Lana and Kip versus Miro and Penelope. But here's the swerve, which I think they should do. We start the match. And before the match even starts, Lana just kicks Kip in the balls and goes, "If your wife doesn't want to be with you, what makes you think I want to be with you? I already have a best man." And then now Miro has got both Lana, or CJ, and fucking Penelope. And Kip's all by himself alone until finally whatever this blows over. But I think that's something they could do. If it's going to make any fucking sense. Because right now, why would Miro want to be with Penelope and possibly Kip when he comes back? No, I think this should be Miro just stole Kip's wife. Yes, he's already got his own wife. Now he's got 2 women. That's what I think they should do. Make Miro not only the badass fucking guy that could beat everybody's ass, but the badass fucking guy that could beat everybody's ass the women want too. I mean, he's the best man. He shouldn't just be the best man in the ring. He should be the best man in bed as well. We get a promo in the back. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She's with Rebel, and Tony Schiavone said, "This is my favorite time, or favorite portion of the show every single week when I get to talk to Dr. Britt Baker, DMD." They're interrupted by Vicky Guerrero. She's like, that title will look better on my client. All you've shown us since winning the title is that you like to eat cheeseburgers. Well, I think we should have a match. Or no, first Britt goes, "What do you want me to do? Just give up the title to Nyla?" And she goes, No. Vicky says, "We should have a match." And Britt's like, "Yeah, right." And Vicky just goes, "Hey, I brought in Elidolo. I brought in Andrade. So Tony Khan owes me a favor. He told me I can make any match I want, and we got a match. It's you two, Britt Baker and Rebel, against Nyla Rose and myself, Vicky Guerrero." Yes, Vicky Guerrero. Hopefully, Vicky ain't going to try and wrestle. Because this would be bad. And this match has been announced, I believe. Let me double check. I believe for next week. Yeah, no. 2 weeks. Wednesday, June 30th. So announced for next week. Officially, it is Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy with the AEW World Championship on the line. And we do know that Hangman Page will be taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. Announced for Wednesday, June 30th, when they finally return to Wednesdays, Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel against Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. The TNT title will be on the line when Miro defends against Brian Pillman Jr. And MJF will take on Sammy Guevara. We got a video package contrasting FTR and Santana and Ortiz and how they're different and whatnot. They both had to fight to get to where they are. They say it's difficult. Or this is kind of difficult to recap because they kept jumping back and forth between the two teams. But basically, we're similar but different at the same time. Jade Cargill then cuts a promo with Mark Sterling. They said that they've got some sort of a partnership, sponsorship deal going with a top-tier elite hotel in Toronto. Mark Sterling goes, "We're open to any kind of endorsements." And Jade goes, "No, not any, only the elite endorsements." I don't know if that's leading to something, but the elite, I doubt it. And then Mark Sterling goes, "And also, we've got a great promo code." Jade, tell them what it is. She goes, "It's that bitch." Because, well, I'm that bitch. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I think they're trying too hard with Jade. Jade looks good in the ring. But I think they're trying too hard with the whole that bitch thing. Like, I'm that bitch. Like, they want to get her off as hard. Is that the right term? Hard? Calling herself a bitch? So next up, we got the 6-man tag team main event. It's Matt Jackson and the Good Brothers against Eddie Kingston, Penta, and Frankie Kazarian. Don Callis was on commentary. And they kept telling us throughout the match, which they foreshadowed this way too much. No Nick Jackson. They kept saying, no Nick Jackson. Oh, Don, where's Nick Jackson? Is Nick watching from home? Was Nick hurt? Is he rehabbing at home? Where's Nick? Nick this, Nick that. No Nick Jackson. They said it one too many times for me to go, oh, Nick Jackson's going to play into the finish, which he did. Kazarian attacks at the bell. He rolled up Anderson for a quick 2 before drowning him with a clothesline. Downing him with a clothesline. Matt Jackson got involved, and Penta fought everyone off and tagged in Kingston for a double team. Jackson avoided a spinning back fist and tagged Gallows in. The match broke down into a free-for-all with everyone brawling on the floor. A running crossbody from Jackson took out Kingston ahead of a commercial. The Elite took control during the break, beating down Kingston in their corner. Kingston shrugged off some right hands from Jackson and peppered him with chops. An overhead belly-to-belly suplex allowed Kingston to reach Kazarian for the hot tag. Kazarian ran wild on everybody, taking them all out. A springboard leg drop on Anderson got a 2. Kazarian countered a spinebuster and locked on a cross-face chicken wing, but Gallows broke it up, allowing Anderson to hit a spinebuster. Penta tagged in and took out Jackson with a backbreaker before hitting a tope con grillo on both Good Brothers. A floating DDT got a 2. Kingston tagged in, and Jackson was the victim. Victim of a parade of offense in the corner. Penta hit a fear factor. Kingston hit a backdrop driver, and Kazarian hit an Angle's wings. But Gallows broke up the pin. A thrust kiss from Penta to Anderson got a 2. Anderson fought out of a fear factor and hit a neck breaker before tagging in Gallows. The Good Brothers hit an assisted neck breaker, and Jackson hit a top rope elbow drop for a 2. Kazarian broke up a magic killer. And we got a parade of big moves, leaving Anderson and Penta in the ring. Penta then hit a backbreaker and moved to the top rope, but Nick Jackson would run in and spray Penta in the face with a cold spray. This allowed Anderson to hit a top rope stun gun and pick up the victory for the Elite. So Carl Anderson does defeat Penta, winning the match for his team. All of a sudden, they're all shocked. Oh my God, it's Nick Jackson. Where did he come from? And Don Callis is like, ha, we got him. And then, yeah, show ends with the Elite in the ring celebrating. And that was AEW Dynamite. That there was AEW Dynamite. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so that was AEW Dynamite. I thought the show itself was all right. Wasn't anything special to me. It just seemed like hey, we got this Friday night show. Let's just get it over with so we can get to the live stuff next week. Even though it's a Saturday show, which usually does better for AEW than Friday shows. So, whatever. As far as the poll does go, we got a poll on Twitch. 40% of you liked tonight's AEW Dynamite. 40% didn't like AEW Dynamite, and 20% thought the show was just all right. As far as the YouTube poll does go, let's pull that up right here. And it disappeared on me. Come on, YouTube, give me the poll. There we go. 41% of you liked tonight's Dynamite. 34% thought it was just all right. And 23% of you did not like tonight's AEW Dynamite. And I mean, I understand the whole, both polls were kind of like split right down the middle. So I thought the show was all right. Could have been better, but I get it. It's not a big marquee show right now. You're not building to anything really super big. So you can kind of have one of these kinds of shows that is just like we know it's not going to do good in the ratings. We know it's a Friday night show at 10 p.m. Let's just get it over with. And that's kind of what I felt with the show. It's like, let's try some things. Let's do some cute stuff, like the fucking Orange Cassidy Cesar Bononi match, and we'll get through it. But with that, now we've got talk about SmackDown. WWE SmackDown, where for the first time, a Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown. But let me throw up the poll for SmackDown. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. What did you think of tonight's SmackDown? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. So the same poll up on YouTube. New poll. Liked it. Right. Didn't. All right. Got the poll up. The poll is live on both Twitch and YouTube. Let me know what you thought about tonight's SmackDown. Again, once more, if you guys want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. It is in the live chat on both Twitch and YouTube and scrolling across the screen down here periodically as well. Pull up SmackDown notes, and SmackDown kicks off with a recap of Roman Reigns beating down Rey and Dominic over the last 2 weeks. And my first thought was, oh, this feud or angle, or whatever you want to call this right now, is really hurting Dominic's credibility. Because this feud is all about Rey wanting revenge on Roman for beating up Dominic. Daddy's got to come to a save because he can't defend himself. So he needs Daddy to come fight his battles for him. And that's all I've been thinking about since last week especially. Daddy needs to come help the boy. And that's not the look you want on Dominic. Because ever since his first match last year at SummerSlam with Seth, he gets better and better every time. And I'm like, damn, give Dominic another year, and he's going to be really good. Like, he's already really good now, but give him another year, and he's going to be really, really good. Like, just think, if Dominic could have started in NXT, how really good he could have been now. Like, if he would have done the real developmental thing, training at the PC, working stuff in NXT, and then eventually come to the main roster. I get it. He's progressing way faster than I've seen anybody progress in a very long time. Especially being thrown straight into the main roster. And I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying, this right here, this storyline really gave me the, he's just raised kid vibes. He's just raised kid vibes. And Daddy, even though Daddy is smaller than Son, has to come to his save. We get the recap, and then we get to the live shot, and Rey is in the middle of the ring. The cell is kind of hanging halfway down, and Rey noted that any parent knows how he's feeling. And again, right that first line, I just go, oh, we don't need the whole Daddy coming to my save thing. Rey's voice cracked a little bit, describing Reigns driving Dominic out of the ring with the powerbomb to the floor. He pointed out that Dominic is good in walking. Rey said that he'll never forget the name of the person that did this to his son, Roman Reigns. But he doesn't want to wait until Sunday and demanded that they have this match tonight. Well, yeah, you already did that on Twitter, bud. Rey knew that Reigns is already accepted and wants the match to just happen. Well, I thought Rey was trying to get the match to happen now, but then Michael Cole did tell us, this is our main event. Suddenly the cell began to lower and trap Rey in the ring when Roman would come out with Paul Heyman. Heyman came out, and Reigns noted that he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to have to hurt Rey. He said, what I did to your son is nothing compared to what I'll do to you once we're locked in that cell. He said, Rey, I don't want to hurt you, but this is what you want. He said that what he does to Rey is going to make what he looks His line was, "What I did to your son, or what I do to you, is going to make what I did to Dominic look PG." He asked if Ray's sure he wants this tonight. Ray responded with, "I'm ready to fight." Reigns looked a little disappointed and noted that he's going to do this his way. Reigns walked off furious. This is a good opening segment, other than the whole "Daddy's coming to son save." And then the Hell in a Cell match is pretty good. Ray took a hell of a bump. We will talk about later out of the ring. So next up, we had Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz taking on Big E and Kevin Owens with Sami Zayn on commentary. Match was fine. It all built towards this pay-per-view this weekend with Sami and Owens, though. We got a pre-taped promo from Crews and Aziz. Crews says he's confident that they're going to win because of their secret weapon, Commander Aziz. Before the match starts, Crews and Aziz come out first. Then in Gorilla, Kayla Braxton interviews Kevin Owens and Big E. She pointed out that Aziz beat down both of them. How are they going to combat him in an actual match tonight? Are they worried? And Owens goes, we're not really worried, because Big E's one of the strongest guys in the locker room. He stressed that Big E is a former 9-time tag team champion. Big E didn't respond at first, and Owens was a bit offended. Big E admitted this wound is still fresh, because Owens has turned on him before. Big E promised, though, they're going to beat Crews and Aziz because Crews and Aziz will feel their power. Right as the match is about to start, the music of Sami Zayn hits. Sami walks down to the ring. We hear him yell, "I'm just joining commentary. I'm going to be on commentary." And Pat McAfee goes, "Well, Michael Cole, looks like Sami Zayn's going to join us on commentary." So the babyfaces had the early advantage here as they worked over Crews. Big E hit a big splash, followed by Owens hitting a senton. Aziz got the tag, and the pace slowed. He rocked Big E with the big boot, sending him to the ringside area. Aziz went after Big E and slammed him hard on the floor. Back from a commercial break, Aziz was firmly in control and gave Big E a suplex. He backed Big E in the corner and hit a second suplex. However, Aziz missed an elbow, and Big E went for the tag, but Crews knocked Owens off the apron. Crews and Big E fought on the apron. Crews went for the Death Valley driver, but Big E countered. Back from a break, Owens hit a swanton bomb for a close near fall. At one point, Aziz tried breaking up a pin attempt, but was late and hit Crews. It clearly wasn't supposed to happen. Aziz tagged back in and destroyed Owens and Crews. He then slammed Owens into the ring post. Zayn would jump up and yell at Kevin Owens. Owens was briefly distracted here. He jumped back in the ring, and Aziz hit the Nigerian nail to pick up the victory. So, Sami didn't really get involved. I mean, he was yelling at Owens at ringside, "Pay attention, you're in a match, why are you looking at me?" And I guess that was enough to distract Owens. I don't know. Regardless, Owens gets pinned. Zayn runs to the back and is watching on the monitor of Kevin Owens in the ring. "I can't breathe, Nigerian nail." They've been selling this Nigerian nail, even though it's the same thing as fucking Umaga's old Samoan spike. They've been selling it like it's worse than that. Can't breathe. People get hit with the Samoan spike by Umaga, and they just be down and whatever. But they get hit with the Nigerian nail from Aziz, and it's like their windpipes closed up, their throats jacked up, whatever. So, they are a hype video for the Battle of the Crown. Nakamura versus Corbin coming up next. All of a sudden, in the back, we see Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. We hear, "I want Sami! I want Sami!" And Adam Pearce is like, "Whoa, Owens, Kevin, calm down. Are you sure? Is this really what you want?" He's like, "I want Sami! I want Sami!" And I hurt my throat just trying to do it. And so Sonya looks at Pierce. Pierce looks at Sonya and he goes, okay, you can have the match. Sunday at Hell in a Cell. And Owens leaves. We got what they called the Battle of the Crown. Shinsuke Nakamura versus King Corbin match goes about 9 minutes. Corbin and Nakamura had a basic match. There was a throne with the crown set next to the throne. Rick Boogs did the intro for Nakamura. And as the match started, Corbin avoided a kick and rolled up Nakamura for a near fall. Nakamura quickly recovered and hit a sliding German suplex. He rolled out to the floor as Boogs played Nakamura's music. After a commercial break, Corbin was firmly in control and hit a deep 6 for a close near fall. Nakamura recovered and hit a backbreaker to regain control. He hit a sliding knee for another near fall. Nakamura set up for the Kinshasa, but Corbin hit a huge clothesline instead. Nakamura fought back and hit 2 knees off the second turnbuckle, but Corbin wouldn't go down. Corbin attempted a choke slam, but Nakamura hit a knee to the face. He then hit the Kinshasa to pin Corbin and win the crown. So, is he no longer King Corbin? Is he just Baron Corbin? Because now we got Nakamura with a crown officially, even though this makes no goddamn sense because it's like, it's Corbin's crown. Why is the babyface stealing from... Is he supposed to be Robin Hood? No, because Robin Hood steals from the rich to give to the poor because the rich stole from the poor. No, this is just, I like your crown, I'm going to steal your crown. And then officially now he owns the crown? Corbin's in the ring almost to tears because the crown that he legitimately won, beating multiple men in the King of the Ring tournament, is now just for nothing gone. Nakamura poses with the crown. Boogs plays his theme, and we cut to the back. We see SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair walking to the ring. They recap Cesaro attacking Seth Rollins and destroying Bayley's Ding Dong Hello set before Bianca Belair would come out and laugh at Bayley last week. In the ring, Belair said that it felt good to put Bayley in her place after Ding Dong Hello. More maybe Ding Dong Goodbye. Belair looked forward to taking on Bayley Sunday. She called Bayley a bully and called her a bully and said, now Bayley, come out here and face me. Bayley didn't come out. She goes, Bayley in her games. Come on, Bay. I'm waiting. Belair then said, you know what? It's tough to have someone laugh in your face. I remember what that was like when I was younger and bullies would laugh at me. Belair noted that she's sick of Bayley and challenged her to a match. Hell in a Cell match. She said, we've got this match set already, but let's make it inside Hell in a Cell. Belair promised to grab her by the hair. She's going to beat Bayley so bad, she's going to beg her to stop. Belair said, first, they ignore you. Then they laugh at you and they fight you. She held up the belt and said, and then you win. Bayley's music would hit and she jumped into the ring. They started to brawl and fell to the floor. Belair had the advantage until Bayley was thrown over the barricade. Bayley then grabbed the hair of Bianca Belair and yanked her into the barricade, knocking her down. Bayley continued the beatdown of Belair. She hit her with a rose plant in the ring, stomped and stood on the hair, and held the SmackDown Women's Champion high above her head in the ring. Good segment. I didn't think this was bad at all. Bayley, I guess, accepted Hell in a Cell because they announced it officially on social media. This match will take place in the Cell. Going forward, they recap the recent problems between Roman Reigns and the Usos, which that segment last week in the locker room where Jimmy was like, hey, I don't care about you. I care about us. And then Roman's like, it is all about us. I don't know why you keep saying it's me. No, I do what I do for us. And, you know, it's the family and this and that. And that was a great segment last week. And so Roman's in the locker room and an Uso walks up. They pan up and it's Jimmy. And Roman's like, where's your brother? And Jimmy's like, I don't know. I haven't talked to him since last week. I've called him. I've texted him. I went by the crib. Nothing. He's like, but I took what you said and I thought about it and I agree. I don't agree with everything you do, but I agree with what you say. It is all about the family and we have to stick together to be our best. Like, so if you need me tonight, I'll be there for you. Just let me know. And Roman kind of got this look on his face like, you think I need you, but then kind of like he briefly got a look on his face like, I need you. But then his face shifted again and goes, no. What I need from you is to go find your brother. I need you to find Jay and make sure he's all right. And Jimmy's like, you know what? I got you. I understand. Like, remember, if you need me, I'm here for you. So I think what they're doing now is that Jimmy still doesn't respect the way Roman is going about things, but he understands that what Roman is doing is for the family as a whole. To where if he's the champion and they help him remain the champion, then that is a benefit for the family, not just Roman. And like I said, Jimmy understands that now, apparently, but he just doesn't, because he hasn't turned heel or anything like Roman got Jay to do. He just doesn't appreciate and respect the way Roman's been going about it, I guess you can say. Next up, we had Otis versus Angelo Dawkins. Never mind, I'm going to keep that comment to myself. I was going to say something about Otis not having a beard, but I'm going to keep it to myself. To recap, Otis attacking Dawkins and injuring Montez Ford last week. Michael Cole noted that Ford is injured, at home recovering, and there's no timetable on his return. Dawkins and Otis faced off in the ring. Gable slapped Dawkins in the face, so Dawkins chased him around ringside. Otis was hiding at one point and knocked Dawkins down. Gable and Otis tossed Dawkins into the steps. Gable then hit a knee off the apron onto Dawkins' injured shoulder. Otis and Gable then hit a German suplex discus clothesline combo. And I'm like, thinking to myself, well, did the refs just letting Gable do all this? It's not a handicap match. What the fuck, referee? Eventually they call for the DQ or whatever. A bunch of people come down and they pull Otis and Gable away. I didn't really care for this that much. It was the one thing on the show that I was kind of just like meh about. Then we get a face-to-face little sit-down deal with Cesaro and Seth Rollins in the back. Different than normal, because usually when we get these, they're supposed to be in two separate rooms, and we got the screens, and one person on this side. No, they're just sitting right next to each other. And as they're talking, they acknowledge that they're going to have a match on Sunday. And Rollins says, I'm going to show you. Hold on. My notes just froze. I'm trying to scroll down. Come on, notes. Let me refresh them really fast. I have exactly what Rollins said. Rollins told, here we go. So, the two had to sit down, a little face-to-face deal, where they officially announced the match for Sunday, Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. And Rollins said on Sunday, he's going to show Cesaro what he deserves when Rollins puts Cesaro in his place. Cesaro says, I respect you, Seth, and I respect things you say. But I'm going to have to beat you this coming Sunday. Cesaro then stands up. As Rollins was about to stand up, he pushes over Rollins. Rollins falls back out of his chair. Bada bing, bada boom. That match is official for the pay-per-view this Sunday. Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. All right, Cole and Pat McAfee then run down the lineup for Hell in a Cell. I have the card right here. We have 6 matches. And we'll talk about this here more in a moment when we do our predictions. We have 6 matches so far announced. Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. Bianca Belair and Bayley in a Hell in a Cell match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. And Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Then we get our main event. Roman Reigns. I just said Seth Rollins. It's Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio in a Hell in a Cell match. And this was good. A good match. Both guys worked really hard. Although it appeared that Mysterio had no chance of winning at all. Nobody expected it. And yeah. Roman basically beat his ass. Michael Cole noted that Rey Mysterio's never been inside Hell in a Cell before. And, excuse me, I've got like a bubble built up right here in my chest that like I got to burp it out and it just won't come. Anyways, Michael Cole noted this is the first time Rey Mysterio's been in a Hell in a Cell match. This is the 5th Hell in a Cell match for Roman Reigns. If I'm thinking correctly, the 4 other matches Roman Reigns has had inside the cell, Rusev, Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman. Why can't I think of the 4th one? Rusev, Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, and Bray Wyatt. Mysterio. Big E spoke with Cole earlier tonight and said that we should all pray for Rey Mysterio. I'm like, damn. Rollins rolled out and grabbed a chair early on from under the ring. Reigns overpowered Mysterio and threw the chair away. Mysterio blinded Reigns with a fire extinguisher and hit Reigns with it to gain the advantage. Mysterio then smashed Reigns in the head with the toolbox. After commercial break, Mysterio was firmly in control as he dropped a chair onto Reigns' back. He then wrapped the chair around Reigns' neck and slammed him into the cell. He did this, I think, 3 times. Reigns briefly took over, but he missed a spear and went through the table. Reigns then used a knee to the gut to gain control. Mysterio attempted a sunset bomb, but Reigns held on. Mysterio attempted a Hurricane Rana, and Reigns blocked it and swung him into the side of the cell. Reigns then picked up Mysterio and launched him into the cell again. Back from a break, Reigns was firmly in control. He pummeled Rey in the corner. Reigns then hit a Superman punch and yelled, "Acknowledge me!" Reigns went for the spear, but Mysterio countered into a drop kick. Reigns then attempted a power bomb, but Mysterio fought back with the Hurricane Rana. Mysterio attempted a 619, and Reigns avoided it. Reigns missed the spear yet again and hit the ring post, and Mysterio finally hit that 619. Mysterio grabbed the chair again and beat down Reigns. He placed the chair on Reigns and hit a frog splash, but couldn't make the cover. Mysterio then hit a second frog splash for a very close near fall. Mysterio attempted a Hurricane Rana, but Reigns caught him. Then, in a wild, great spot that played off of last week. So last week, we saw the spot where Roman powerbombed Dominic out of the ring, over the top rope, to the floor below. Of course, crash pad was probably there. We didn't see the actual landing of it. But then this week, Roman stops the Hurricane Rana. He's got Rey up for the powerbomb. So he does the same thing he does to Dominic. He takes Rey, and he powerbombs him over the top rope. But he throws Rey hard enough to where Rey crashes into the side of the cell and just plops straight down on the floor below. This was an insane looking spot because not only was the bump that Rey took off of it both times hitting the cell and hitting the floor crazy, but we saw the whole thing. It wasn't no smoke and mirrors spot. Roman then followed this up with an inverted guillotine choke to pick up the victory. After the match, Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso would come out to celebrate with Reigns. Still no Jay. Mysterio then pulled himself up to his feet. Reigns was mad that Rey was still able to get to his feet, so he locked in the inverted guillotine again, and Mysterio tapped out. Reigns then posed with the title as SmackDown went off the air. I liked this match. I thought this Hell in a Cell match was really fun. Again, the first time we've ever had a Hell in a Cell match on Friday Night SmackDown or any iteration of SmackDown. So again, I thought this match was really fun. And let's check the poll before we get into our Hell in a Cell predictions. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 50% of you thought SmackDown was just all right. 25% liked it, and 25% didn't like it. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 70% of you liked tonight's SmackDown, as far as the YouTube voters do go. 19% thought it was just all right, and 11% did not like tonight's SmackDown. According to Chris, says Roman versus Jay last year, Hell in a Cell. Yes, I did miss that one. Oh, wait, hold on. Was this Ray's? Hold on. I want to look something up. They said this was the fifth Hell in a Cell match for Roman Reigns. But Roman and Bray had a Hell in a Cell match. So hold on. Roman Bray, Roman Rusev, oh, Roman Owens wasn't a Hell in a Cell match. Okay. I'm wrong. I was wrong there. I for some reason thought Roman and Owens was a Hell in a Cell match when they were doing the whole Universal title stuff. Also, thank you for the super chat donation, Courtney Chris. Really do appreciate that. Okay, I was wrong there. So it's Bray, Jay, Braun. Who am I missing? Bray, Jay, Braun, Rusev. That was it. Okay, my bad. Owens fought Seth inside the cell. Gotcha, okay. But with that, we got Hell in a Cell this weekend. This coming Sunday is WWE Hell in a Cell live on Peacock and the WWE Network all around the world. We have 6 matches so far announced for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So let's run it all down and give you some predictions for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So first off, we do know that Cesaro will be going one-on-one with Seth Rollins. If I'm going to make a prediction here, I actually think Seth Rollins should pick up the victory because I feel like Seth needs the momentum. Because eventually, I don't know, I can see this match going either way, but for some reason I feel like they're going to do something big with Seth here soon, and Seth needs the momentum, so I'm going Seth Rollins. Next up, we have Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. I think Kevin Owens picks up the victory. Sami can take the loss, and he won't be any worse for wear. Kevin Owens, well, he's taken a number of losses recently and needs this win. Going forward, Alexa Bliss will be taking on Shayna Baszler. This is a tough one. I think we get some shenanigans with the Magic. Bliss picks up the victory. Going forward with the Raw Women's Championship on the line, Rhea Ripley defending against Charlotte Flair. I don't know why, but I'm going with my gut, and my gut keeps telling me fucking Charlotte's winning the title. So I'm going to say Charlotte Flair. Inside Hell in a Cell, with the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line, Bianca Belair defending against Bayley. I think Bianca defends the title and retains the title here. I think if Bianca's going to lose it, she will not lose it till at least SummerSlam, if not farther down the line. So Bianca retains here, Hell in a Cell. And finally, with the WWE Championship on the line, Bobby Lashley will be defending inside Hell in a Cell against Drew McIntyre. And if McIntyre loses, he can no longer challenge Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Now, in all honesty, I would prefer Bobby Lashley to retain. That burp's right there. It just wants to come up. I don't know why it won't. Anyways, so in all honesty, I would prefer Bobby Lashley to retain, but for some reason with that, this is your last chance. And going into SummerSlam, I just have this another gut feeling Drew's going to retain. So I could be wrong here, but I'm going to say there's something telling me Drew not retains but regains the WWE Championship. So I'm going to say Drew McIntyre. But with that, guys, that is all the matches so far announced for this Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Remember, we will be live following Hell in a Cell, recapping the entire show, breaking it all down, and giving you our thoughts or my thoughts on Hell in a Cell. So with that, guys, we got the text messages to check out before we do wrap everything up. Pull those up right here. Remember, if you want to text in, you can do so, 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. We got a number of text messages, actually. This person says, this referee in AEW sure got distracted enough tonight. Not exactly sure who you're talking about, per se. First says, WWE bringing back King of the Ring on Cyber Sunday. It's been talked about. I don't know for sure. I think King of the Ring more likely than Cyber Sunday. It says, if or when John Cena comes back to WWE, do you see him winning the Universal title? No. Cena will come back and lose to Roman. It says, I think Dynamite was great. Do you see Andrade becoming a champion in AEW in the future? I mean, maybe eventually the TNT title. I honestly don't see Andrade being the world champion, though. Other person says, Pentagon Jr. and Eddie Kingston should face the Young Bucks for the AEW tag titles. Why? We just saw Eddie Kingston challenge for the tag titles and lose. I don't want to see that again, even if it's with a different opponent. And I get it. This show was filmed like 3 weeks ago, and they did the whole, Moxley's out injured, and we have no clue when he's coming back. But no reference to his wife just had a baby. Anyways, I know the show was filmed back whenever. They could have taped that in, or recorded that line in, but whatever. Lipper says, in your opinion, which was the better show? I say SmackDown. I had more criticisms of Dynamite. Versus, I thought the AEW cage fight could have been better. Who challenges Roman next at Money in the Bank? Well, the fake cage fights or MMA fights in pro wrestling are usually not good. The only good one I've ever kind of liked was Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle in TNA. But as far as who challenges Roman next, Again, I have this gut feeling that it could be Seth. Whether that is that Money in the Bank or somewhere else, I just have this feeling that they're building Seth up to challenge Roman. First says, when do you think Kip Sabian makes his return? And is he going to be a babyface, possibly dethroning Miro for the TNT title? He ain't going to beat Miro for that title. I'm going to tell you that right now. And as a babyface, maybe. I don't know how long his recovery is from his shoulder surgery, though. Because I think I heard commentary say something about he could be out for like 6 months. So I don't know. This person again, who challenges Roman for the championship? And this person says, what do you think of WWE Week with Hall of Fames and WWE Legends coming back in July? Well, I haven't heard that that's actually happening in July. I've heard they want to do some theme stuff and maybe like a Legends night again, but I don't know where you're getting July from. And this last one says, is it me or anyone else get annoyed when Jade uses "I'm that bitch" line every time she's on screen? Bro, it's not just you. I say it every time too. They trying too hard with her, making her come off as some hard woman from the streets or something, saying, I'm that bitch. Yeah, no, I'm annoyed by it as well. But with that, guys, that's going to wrap up our review tonight of Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Dynamite. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember to follow us on social media, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Search for us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Also, remember to keep an eye on our website, pwunlimited.co. So with that, guys, have a great night. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you right back here for Hell in a Cell on Sunday. Have a good one. All right, if you're still watching on Twitch,